us know all about the story of Jesus, but the interesting reality is that every day, his story is continuing to be written as your life story unfolds. We all have a story, yet once our lives have been surrendered to Jesus, our story becomes his story. He redeems it. No more shame, but glory. Glory to Jesus for what he has done in our lives. I want you to come along with me as we bring glory to the one who's the true author of it all. Today, I have Patrick and Dawna Nikiema. Thank you guys for saying yes. I'm so excited to hear your story. I know bits and pieces of it, but I love to share people's stories with Jesus so that they have hope and that they have confident expectation that whether they've followed Jesus their whole life, whether they've wrestled and struggled with their faith, whatever that looks like, they can learn that this God is really real and he's present throughout all our journeys. I don't know about you guys, but we're kind of always in a hurry to grow up when we're kids, and then you grow up and you realize adulting is really hard. It's not as easy as we thought, right?
Very hard.
Parenting is hard. Mm-hmm. The unexpected happens, and it doesn't matter if you love and follow Jesus or don't love and follow Jesus. Struggle happens.
Yes.
Hard happens.
Yes.
And so I'm really excited for you guys to share with us today. Let me start with, how long have you guys been going to church here? And like, how long have you been married? Tell us those kind of things.
I will let Dawna start.
Yeah. We've been going here for a little bit over 7 years. The way we remember it is we came here one Sunday, and then the week after our daughter was born.
Whoa.
So,
seriously?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's
I
correct.
don't remember that.
Yes.
I thought you guys had been here for a while. Okay.
So the story is different.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I have been coming
He
here
has a
since I was
different-
single.
Okay.
So I started coming here in 2007, so it's been a while.
Yep.
But then a church plant invited me to come and participate in their launch.
Okay.
And I kept going there. And fast forward, I met Dawna at that church during the launch because she was invited to come also for the church launch.
Yes.
And we have been there for a few years. But when we came back here, that's what she said 7 years ago.
Yep.
And we did come after our first Sunday back.
Yeah.
Christelle was born before the next Sunday.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, there's a whole story there, and we'll
Yes.
get to
Yes.
Christelle. Okay, let's see. So you've mentioned Christelle. How many kids do you have?
We have 2.
Okay, Christelle is how old?
Christelle is 7.
Mm-hmm.
PJ is 3.
Okay,
His name is Patrick Jr., but we call him PJ.
love it. I love it.
Yep.
Okay, tell me where you were born and like where you grew up. You can go first, Dawna.
Okay, I will go first. I was born in South Dakota, and I grew up in Colorado and Kansas.
Okay.
Yes.
All over the Midwest.
I'm just a Midwest girl.
How long were you in South Dakota?
Like less than a year.
Okay, so no memory really
Nope,
of living there.
no.
Okay. And then Kansas and Colorado. And here.
Yeah, Colorado was until 12 years old, and then Kansas was from 12 to 18. And then I moved to Omaha for college.
Do you have a favorite place? Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska? Or a least favorite?
I mean, Colorado is probably the most beautiful place.
For sure.
Yeah, I lived there. I just have a lot of childhood memories there.
Yeah.
And we lived really close to the mountains.
Where were you?
Arvada is
My daughter used to live
yeah.
there. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, suburb of Denver,
Yep.
right close to the mountains. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Does Kansas have much going for it?
It,
I'm not sure.
Well, it's beautiful if
Okay.
you like.
Not much in Nebraska.
Yeah, if you like golden fields and blue skies with puffy clouds.
Yeah,
but
that's
yeah.
good. That's a way to see beauty. And
Yeah.
we might not have mountains and oceans, but we can see the
Yeah.
sky
The
for
sky
sure.
is so pretty, yeah.
There's no smog and whatever,
Right.
blocking our view. So that's something to
Yeah.
celebrate. Okay, Patrick, tell us about you.
Yeah, so I grew up in Burkina Faso in West Africa. I came to the U.S. when I was an adult to go to school. So I came here for college.
How old were you?
I was 26 when I came to the U.S.
Okay. In Burkina Faso, do you finish like school, high school, whatever, like kind of the similar time that we do, 17, 18, 19, something like that?
Yes.
And then what were you doing from that age till when you came to America?
Yep. So in Burkina Faso, we do have 12 years in school before college. So
Okay.
one more year than
yeah.
here. So,
Okay.
but you roughly finish also when you are 18 or 19.
Okay.
After that, I did go to college back home. So I had a bachelor's degree in teaching from Burkina Faso before moving here in Omaha to continue with my master's degree. But when I got to Omaha, I changed my mind and I changed careers.
Okay, so your bachelor's was to be a teacher. What did you want to teach?
My parents, actually, the reason why I changed my career is that both my parents are teachers. So after I grew up, I felt like they wanted me to become a teacher because they were just teachers.
Yeah.
And it was not necessarily what I wanted to do. So when I got my freedom of moving away from them, I decided that, well, I can just do what I want to do. And I changed into computers.
Okay. Do you like it?
I do. I enjoy it.
Do you like it better than you would have liked teaching?
I actually am able to do both now because I teach on the side at Metro here, a college here.
I didn't know that.
It's very fun for me to use my computer skills to teach.
Yeah.
Because I have the teaching skills for sure, naturally. I think from my parents being teachers and also just being a people person, I like to teach or talk or share what I know.
Yeah.
And looking back, I feel like God actually had that plan for me because when I was going for my teaching degree, I wasn't really excited about becoming a teacher. But fast forward, God used that skill that He built in me over time.
Yeah.
And also the skill that I decided that I should be learning on my own to put them together for me to enjoy.
I love that. Yes. We've talked about it before, but my daughter homeschools, and she was doing a geography unit with her kids. And I mean, this is when the oldest one was kindergarten, first grade, going into it. But she really loves. Her and her husband are both very smart, so they really love to stretch the kids and what they can learn. And so she knows that our church is so beautifully international and diverse. And so she said, "Mom, could you ask any of your African friends to help me learn some facts about Africa that might really bring it alive?" And you guys, Patrick took that ask so seriously. I mean, he was a teacher. You sent me several videos. You had a lecture planned. You had basically like a chalkboard, like a mark, whatever kind of board up when you were showing us facts. And I loved it
That
so
was fun.
much. Yeah, you came alive in that.
I'm ready for more.
Okay, all right. I'll ask her when the next lesson is. But it was so cool to see that when you say that now, it's like, yes, it makes so much sense. The teacher in you is naturally there. And the drive behind it is your love for people. You want them to know. You want to help them learn. And it's not like I want to tell you all the things I know. It's I want to help you know things that you might like to. Yes. So I love that so much. Okay, where was I at? Just you guys growing up?
Yep.
Okay, and you coming here.
Yes.
Did you come straight to Nebraska?
Unfortunately, yes. It's too cold here for me. After so many years, almost 2 decades, I still feel it's too cold for me here.
Okay.
But I have a lot of friends now that I don't want to lose and start all over.
Okay.
So I'm just sticking with it.
Okay, good.
Every winter I
So
do
proud of
threaten
you.
that I'm moving.
You
But,
do.
you know,
You
after
contemplate it's time to go?
Yes.
Do I really love my friends?
Then winter goes away and I think, I'm staying.
Okay, yes.
Yes. But, had I not, I came here really randomly, Usually you go where you have someone who can host you for a few days until you get your own place.
Yep.
And the person who could host me was in Nebraska, in Omaha.
Okay.
So I did not really have a choice there.
Yeah.
But I don't complain. I like it.
This might be a stupid question, but did you know your sponsor before you got here? Do you have to know them first, or could it be somebody that just volunteers?
You should know them.
Okay.
It's someone that actually you know them. You work with them.
Okay.
Throughout the process.
How did you know them?
So maybe it's a different story too, but the sponsor for the sponsorship is actually your parents who should sponsor you. So when you come here, you actually need to rent an apartment or stay in the dorms or have a friend or someone you know to host you to kind of cut save on the budget.
Yep.
So that's why you need to know someone,
I see.
or you're gonna have to be in the dorm or finding an apartment.
Got it.
And you cannot find an apartment while being out of the country. So usually you find a friend to host you.
Yep.
And that friend who could host me was in Omaha. And that's how I came to Omaha. I've never heard about Omaha before.
Yeah, well, a lot of people say that. Okay, you're not going to get to monopolize everything, but I love learning this. I think if I were coming from a completely other country, culture, language, all of it, I would be a little bit afraid. Were you afraid?
Yes.
Okay.
It was the coming was actually exciting because the America that you know from out of the country is just the best in the world. You know, until you come here and you realize that you have to work, you have to make an effort to get your own place. But I was more excited coming, but when I arrived here, I found that it was not as easy as I expected it to be. But at the same time, it will even tie to a little bit of what we're going to talk about. When you come here, you actually become responsible. Coming here at 26, I wasn't doing anything at home except go to school or go hang out, come home and expect food to be ready for me, expect my clothes to be cleaned. You know, at 26, your parents did take care of you. You basically live in your home, your parents' home, until you are married.
Okay.
So coming here, you know, you do not have that luxury of being taken care of anymore. So that was hard.
Do you think it's better that way or just different?
I think it's different, but I think the American way is better because regardless of your age, at some point you will have to become independent.
Yeah.
And the sooner you start being independent, the better it will be for you. So my American work ethic has helped me become more independent. And I think that I wouldn't be the person I am today, you know, for my work ethic if I did not have the exposure of America.
Yeah. Okay, Dawna, tell me how in the world you guys met, because this guy's in Burkina Faso. You're in South Dakota, Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska. There's a slight gap between those two locations.
Yeah. So going a little bit back, after college, I went to Grace University here in Omaha. My parents had both gone there and met there. Unfortunately, it's closed now. But I was very much encouraged into missions while I was there. So my senior year, I went to a missions conference and kind of raised my hand and was like, I'll go where, wherever God wants me to go. So after that, I got an opportunity to go to East Africa and be a nanny for a missionary family who was from Missouri, and they were just going there for the first time as well. So I went there, and actually I wanted to go where God wanted me to go, but at the beginning I didn't want to go to Africa because it was so different from what I was used to. But God really changed my heart. He helped me just have peace about saying yes. And when I went there, it was like God just changed my whole life and my whole world. And just falling in love with people that I had never met, I didn't know, but God just gave me a love for them and just for sharing the gospel. So I went there, and then a little bit after I came home, it was about a 6-month trip, and then I came back to Omaha and started working, and then Patrick, he came to Omaha too.
So crazy.
We were both in Africa around the same time, different countries, and came to Omaha roughly the same time. Came back to Omaha, but for me, came for the first time in Omaha.
That is insane to me. It's actually like God in the details or whatever, that he gave you a heart for Africa, but didn't give you Patrick yet.
Nope.
And then brought Patrick to Omaha.
Yes.
And then brought you guys together.
Yes.
It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
I do not know if I'm going too fast, but some days I think that God has only brought me here to America because he knew that I would have a daughter who can only stay alive with American medicine. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So good. Okay, let me back it up a little bit then and say, how did you come to know Jesus? Where does Jesus show up in the picture? Who wants to go?
So my parents were already saved when I was born. That doesn't mean I was Christian or I was saved. I mean, But I got saved when I was in 10th grade.
How are your parents already saved if you live in Burkina Faso? Is that a highly Muslim country?
Yes,
right?
it is. It is.
Uh-huh.
Actually, my dad is first in his family to be saved from Islam.
Okay.
So my mom's dad, so my grandpa from my mom's side was also the first to be saved from his religion. He didn't have a religion, just
Okay.
I guess we would call it African religion, just believe
Sure.
there's a God somewhere.
Okay.
But my grandpa was also the first to be saved in his village.
Okay.
So both my parents being saved when they got married, they wanted to make sure that we stay, in the faith and do Christian things. So my dad was saved in an elementary school, a Christian elementary school, and he went on to become a teacher for that elementary school.
Wow.
And my mom, because her parents were saved, they also sent her to a Christian elementary school and Christian boarding school for high school. And when she also got saved, she also wanted to become a teacher. So both end up being teachers. And over time, my dad became the principal of the Christian school. And the setup there is that when you are the principal of the school, you stay where the school is located in the same compound of the school.
Okay.
So basically the school is, just a big compound. The school is there, the principal's house is there, and also the church is there. So as a child growing up, I was going to a Christian school. The church was just in my house. I say sometimes that I lived inside the church because
Yes.
it was in the same compound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my parents taught me, as growing up, it was only church at home and at church. And I actually remember that there's only one day in the week that I did not have any activity at church.
Okay.
So that's the way I grew up, and until coming to America. So if I can go a little bit further,
Yeah.
I would say that I grew up, doing the right thing that I was taught to do, but my real relationship with God started when I came to America. And I would even say that I feel like I used to live my parents' faith before coming to America.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I was just being obedient at that point,
Yeah.
just doing what my parents wanted me to do. I was doing it right. But when I came to America, my first Sunday, one thing that I still remember today is that my mom didn't come and knock at my door to see that, to check if I'm ready for church or not.
Because even at 26 years old, your mom was still coming to knock on the door to make sure you were going to
Yes.
church. Okay.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
kids would be so upset if I showed up. Hey, just making sure you're going to church.
And they're not 26 yet, so.
Right. Did it were you ever tired of church and doing the right thing and being there all the time, or were you okay with it?
I was a lot of times I was tired.
Okay.
She would knock at the door. I say, "I'm awake, Mom," and she goes back, and I just pull my comfort again. I'm not getting ready
Yeah.
until because of me, we'll be late or something like that. Some days I don't want to go. That
Yeah.
is true story.
Yeah.
But my parents will always check on me and make sure that I get up and go to church. They will drag me to church every Sunday, I want it or not. So mostly I go, but some days.
So then you're here, your first Sunday, and now you have to make a decision if you're going to wake up and go to church,
Yeah.
or what
Yeah.
does that
Yeah.
look like for the first time in your life?
It was a big struggle because at 26, being raised by your parents in their home, and finally you broke away, it was like my Independence Day or my independence starting. But that independence is not necessarily the right independence because, as a child, you think that, I knew my parents were so strict. I feel like they were so strict. We had a lot of don't do's, and
More don't do's
More don't
than there
do's.
were do's.
Yes.
We really focused on what not to do, sin,
Yeah.
evil,
Right.
Yeah.
rather than do
yeah,
good, kind, love,
yeah,
hope,
correct.
whatever.
And so when I broke away, it was basically, to me, it was like, okay, you are free to do everything that you wanted to do, but you couldn't do with your parents. So at the same time, you were trained, your mind knows what to do or what not to do. But now you are only shown with the choice that you should make. So the temptation was there to do what you should not do.
Yep.
Because that felt good because you always wanted to do them and your parents say don't.
Yes.
But now they're not around to tell you not to do them. And but I knew what to do and I went with the do's.
Okay.
So I got up that Sunday morning and I said, I'm going to church. And thankfully, this church here is very known in the international community. Probably
church?
because this church, Good News Church, which
Seriously?
used to be
Yeah.
called Glad Tidings.
Yes.
Yes.
I would say all of the internationals know about this church. So you tell someone that you need a church, they will point you to here, even if they're not coming here.
Wow.
So
I
Yes.
did not know that.
That is how
Yes.
I knew about this because everybody knew. Like you come here to Omaha and you say, at least from Burkina Faso, and you say you want to go to a church. This is where they will point you to. So
And is it like, so you could ask, I mean, at this point, you don't have many friends or whatever. You have your host home. So they know about Glad Tidings and say that's a church to go to or something like that?
that's correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So I got up and went to Glad Tidings, and first I started coming to on Sundays. Then I learned about the young adults.
Yeah,
service.
we had the Saturday night young
Yeah.
adult service
Yes,
back then.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And for me, it was specifically that made me stay on the course with my faith. I walked into the young adult service the first time. One of the peers just came up to me and asked me, "What's your name? Where are you from?" And I said, "Burkina Faso is where I come from. My name is Patrick." But at that point, I was thinking that, it was just anybody. The question that everybody asks you when they hear your accent, where are you from? So to me, I didn't expect that he genuinely asked me to
Yeah.
know or to care about me until the next Sunday or the next time I came to the young adults. As soon as I walked in, he was like, "Hey, Patrick is here." And he kept on introducing me to other young adults.
Do you remember who that was?
Gene
Gene.
Harper. He,
Oh, wow.
I
That's a name
Gene-
from the past.
Yes,
Okay.
it is. So Gene Harper. So he introduced me to more friends, and they were excited to see me and have me. That still has a special place in my heart because I felt like I belonged. People care about me. I am not just the one person out there in America that nobody knows or cares about.
Yeah.
It was the beginning of my new round of friendships being formed.
It is one thing that I absolutely adore about this church is that we are so diverse and it is so beautiful that, like, how many people get to do life in Omaha, Nebraska with countries and people from all races, tribes, tongues, whatever, villages, all the things. And you just like open your eyes and look around on a Sunday morning and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, this is where we go to church. I love it so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love one of the things, Patrick, you and I went to Africa this last spring.
Yes.
That was my first time to Africa. We were not in your home country. And so you were talking about some of the differences that you were recognizing between where we were and where you grew up. But you telling your story and recognizing that the reason your grandpa and your parents and thus you and now your children know Jesus is because missionaries came with the gospel to your country. And that
Yes.
gives me goosebumps every time I say it.
Yes.
Same right now
Right?
for me. Yes.
Like, if that doesn't make me globally minded for the global church, so that everyone would know Jesus and that he would be glorified from every tribe, tongue, and nation. We play a part in that.
Yes.
And someone said yes and went to Burkina Faso with the truth.
Yeah.
And now the legacy that they will never know
Yes.
of where it feels mundane and it feels like they're in Africa and it's hard and we're not seeing salvations every day.
Yes.
But they won't know probably this side of heaven
Yeah.
the legacy that their yes meant. And I could go on for an hour about that. But I
have
love that.
goosebumps
Yes.
myself. Yes. It's
Yes.
some days I sit and think, I wish I knew the missionary who
Yeah.
through whom my parents got saved to shake his hand.
Yeah.
That will never happen until we are in heaven.
Yeah.
But I hope they know that their work were not just mere work that didn't have any fruit. The
Yeah.
fruit is much, much more than they
Yeah.
would expect it to be or they can think it is.
Yeah. So amazing. I love it. Okay, Dawna, your journey to Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a Christian family. My dad was actually a pastor.
Okay.
So I just remember from a young age going to church, and they called it Sunday school back then,
Yes.
and learning from my parents and the people at church, and even my grandma, my mom's mom, was a very influential person in my young life of faith. And I remember a specific time where I was praying with my dad when I asked, like they used to say, ask Jesus into your heart.
Yeah.
So I remember that time where I truly realized, like, oh, I know Jesus died for all our sins, but he died for me. So I remember praying that prayer when I was little. But when I was 12 is when I actually feel like my faith became a real relationship with Christ. It was a Bible camp, and they asked if anyone wanted to dedicate their life to Christ, and they explained it to us as go anywhere God wants us to do and do anything God wants us to do. So I knew that I had to do that. So I made that decision, and after that, every day I started reading God's word. I started in Psalms, and I read 5 verses a day, I think, at the beginning. And that's when I started just getting to know Jesus personally, and knowing him through his word. And his Holy Spirit started speaking to me through his word, and I grew. So
A question for both of you. So both of you, in essence, have followed Jesus your whole life. And some people say that's impossible. And that even if you're a PK, a pastor's kid, that, you're going to rebel or, whatever, walk away from Jesus. But it is such a cool thing, like that you both were able, you're tempted the same way I'm tempted, the same way so-and-so is tempted. None of us are above temptation. What do you think? I don't know how to word the question exactly, but what is in your life, your journey, that kept you saying yes, I'm going to get up and go to church today, even though I don't have to, or walking away from sin and temptation to be able to have the legacy that you have followed Jesus your entire life?
I would say that for me, I think that what the parents teach to the kids is crucial, regardless if you think they listen or not. It's always good to tell the kids what is right or what they should do, even if they do not take it. Don't stop praying and telling them the right thing. Now, I'm not saying to force them and push them, but at least let them hear it.
Yeah.
You may think that it just goes right back out, but it actually goes into their heart, so that when you are not around them, they would have the choice to make, but a lot of time they would know the right choice that they should make. For me too, it was mostly the community that helped me. So if you withdraw from the godly community, or at least, I want to say people who go to church or try to follow God, if you withdraw from that community, the temptation will come for sure, and you may be alone facing them, and that's how you may be given to the temptation. I actually remember my first roommate was a smoker, big smoker. He was, not doing anything that I would think he should be doing. But we were good friends. I lived with him. I saw everything that he was doing, but I had my line. So I knew that, some days I want to go with him, but I knew that I should not. And of course, he's a friend, but I know that a lot of times he made fun of me, of my good choices. It was a joke that we had, but, of course, he was making a point. But knowing that, knowing what you should do helps when you are facing the I should not do. And also, if you decide to go with the don't, when you know that you should be doing the do, it's not too late to go back and do the do. So those things are what helped me. I have not always done the do's. I have done the don'ts. But then after the fact, I would come back and think, should I have done this? And then I would always know what my parents had taught me that I should not. Then I go back. But the community is what definitely helped me.
That's such a profound thought there about even in the way we disciple or mentor, for a different word, mentor believers or people growing in their journey. And then also in parenting, because that is like little mini disciples that you're mentoring,
yes.
right? And very vital.
Oh, yes.
But I was raised in the church atmosphere. I'm about a decade older than you, but the church atmosphere where so much emphasis was on the don'ts. Don't. I know how you think. You're a teenager. You're going to do this. Don't do this. Rather than teaching you, who are you in Jesus? Who is Jesus in you? More on the do's and the why. Why do we do this? Or why do we spend time in biblical community? Why do we want to be around others who think the same as us and things like that, so that you can actually grow and celebrate in your identity rather than just always looking at this list of, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, don't do this. And I really love that, how you said a lot of times you just didn't do the wrong thing. But you weren't necessarily replacing that with doing things that were growing and nurturing relationship with Jesus. It was just, don't do. And I remember for a long time in my life that worked. I had the fear of failing God and the fear of failing my dad. So that motivated me to not do certain things. But as my dad's faith began to crumble, then it became a little bit harder to not do things or to want to make sure I honored my dad, because now everything is like, well, is it true or is it not true? And then I began to fall away. And there's such value, I think, in what you're teaching, what you're talking about, is when you recognize that shift of focusing on why we do and what we do rather than the don'ts. I think is just so profound. I think I just talked in a great big circle, but I'm processing what you've said. I haven't heard it worded that way, but I think there's something to that we need to grow out, even around here, especially in the area of discipleship and mentorship, of what are we focusing on? Don't do or do?
Right.
Do.
Yeah.
Don't say the joke. Okay. Okay, so Dawna.
Yes.
What was the question I asked you, Patrick? Just basically what kept you? Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the same things as him, but also I remember also memorizing scripture all through from kindergarten till 12th grade. So our church had a Bible club that it was kind of like JBQ, just not quizzing, but we had to memorize each week a verse or two, and we got prizes and things like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that kept God's word in my heart, so that what I had to do when my family's rules were not just rules, but kind of like what you were saying, there was a reason behind the rules. And I also remember my parents reading children's devotions to us every night. So in the devotions, little children learn spiritual lessons. So it was on a child's level of understanding, and like sometimes like consequences, what this child did a bad thing and these were the consequences. So I learned, like, at the right age level that I learned why. I like the reasons why, just like what you're saying. And so I feel like that, along with when I was 12, continuing to read the Bible on my own, helped me just keep living it. Like, I don't think I really had a time when I wanted to just rebel, but I just remember whenever I had a hard time just going to with something, or when I was angry at a rule or something, that I would just go to God, and I felt like He gave me something, a reason to not be angry, or a reason to not do the wrong thing. Kind of like what Patrick was saying, just choose the right choice. So that's personally, those are also things that help me to do the right thing.
I like the Bible reading that you mentioned, but for me, thinking and sitting and thinking about what I have gone through, I do think that knowing the word, like learning to memorize the verses or listening to your parents, like I was saying, that is crucial to know what you are supposed to do, and then then the choice later on comes after that. But I was just thinking about myself. I am someone who actually will break the rule if a rule is given to me. I do not like following the rules at all.
Interesting.
As a matter of fact, at some point we had an 8 p.m. curfew at my house. My parents were so strict.
Were you 26 when you had this 8 p.m. curfew?
I think I was probably in my 20s.
No way. I was kidding.
Yes, yes. I was
8
definitely out of high school into college. 8 p.m. was the curfew. We had to be home by 8.
Okay.
And some days I remember I did not have any plans with any friends, but I would just leave the house because it was 8 p.m. Just to prove a point to my parents. But
so there is a little rebellious in you.
that was back then. So, but when when I go out, I still know the don'ts and the do's, and it was just because I felt like I should be independent at that age, but my parents wanted to keep tabs on me. But like I said, the circle that I was with made a difference. Even back home, I actually did not know that Burkina Faso has more Muslims than Christians, because the circle that my parents created for me was all Christian or mostly Christian. Like all of the activities and the people that I knew were mostly Christians until I got here and I was asked, are there Muslims in Burkina Faso? So I started realizing that there was more Muslims than Christians, but my circle has also helped me, stay the course.
Yeah. Okay, this might be a hard fast forward, but what I'm thinking about as you're talking is that the faith that God developed in you guys from a very early age, it makes sense to me how you can go through some of the things you guys have gone through and your faith has been able to stay strong. Like it has been prepared your lifetime to get to this phase. So if I'm skipping any significant details of the story, tell me. But you guys met. You came back from Africa. You're here. You guys met at the church plant that you were at, right?
Correct. Yes.
Then you get married, and then you want to start a family. Okay. Tell me about that journey. Dawna,
So,
you can tell. Go ahead. Who wants to tell it?
I'll just give the intro. So, we met at the church plant, and we have been serving there for at least a year. We have been seeing each other for at least a year until we were convinced that maybe we should pursue a relationship. Yeah. So from there on, we actually, since we were still already advanced in our age, we were not thinking of a relationship to try anything out. It was mostly,
if
just
you know,
trying to get
It's not
married.
wasting
Yes.
time.
So when I asked her out, it took her 5 months to get back to
Not
me.
5 months.
5 weeks. 5 weeks to get.
Still
5
5
weeks.
weeks.
5 weeks to
You
get back
asked
to
her
me.
out, and she's like, "I'm going to think about it for
Yeah,
5 weeks."
5 weeks, and we still see each other at church. But
I was praying. I was praying.
She's very strong.
it was good because me being the African, I did not necessarily know the steps that you should take as an American to get married.
Point. Yeah.
So in my mind, I did ask her to become my girlfriend, but in my mind, I was asking her, "Would you marry me?"
Okay.
So
Because at home, would you date? Do you date?
You
at home?
date, but it's taken as seriously too. Like you cannot date just to see if you are compatible. If you start dating, it is to get married.
Okay.
So so I asked her, to be my girlfriend, and it took her 5 weeks to get back to me. But the minute she said yes, I was thinking, oh, when are we getting married then? But we were 30 back then, so
Yeah.
And I don't know. So we've been.
So how long did you American date before you married him?
That was I think it was about 6 months.
Okay. Yeah.
American date.
Yep.
And then he asked me to marry him. And then it was 3 more months.
Okay.
Till we got married.
So we got married within a year from her saying yes.
Were you expecting? I'm being so American right now. Were you expecting to have to pay a dowry of any kind, or did you know we don't do that?
I was happy because I knew you don't
Okay,
do that.
okay.
But I expected that she pays me dowry, because here we hear that the girl marries the man. So I didn't really expect dowry, but I was like, well, at least that's easy because I don't have to do a lot of hard work to get married. It's on her, not on me.
Okay. I love it.
So I had it easy.
I love it. Okay, so you guys got married, and then you eventually came back here. Oh, well,
Yep.
you're still there during this whole journey to Christelle.
Yep.
Yes.
Tell
So
us about that.
we got married. I'll give a maybe cue from Dawna to talk too.
Okay.
So we got married. We dated for less than a year. Got married.
Yep.
This past August was 13 years since we got married. So so since we got married, I guess we started living the life of a married couple, which should lead us to start having kids. So how long did it take for us to have kids?
About 6 years. Yes.
That's hard.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
How did you process that journey, Dawna?
Me?
Do you get mad at God ever? Does this shake you at all? God, I've followed you my whole life.
Yeah.
Do you say those things?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, I've done, everything you asked me to. I've, followed you. So yeah, those thoughts do come through in my mind, come through in my mind, and just like the whys, which you don't get answers at that time because just trying to process it. There were definitely ups and downs. Like, yes, God is gonna do it, and God is gonna give us a child, and then after several months or years, then you're just like, will you ever give us a child? And like, all the questions are, what are we doing? Are we doing something? Do we have wrong motives, or are we sinning in some way that you are not, punishing, or making us wait, like all of those questions.
We never
kinda
like
go
want to
through
say
your-
that.
Yeah.
That like, God, are you punishing me or
Yeah.
whatever? But it is our human nature, our natural
Yeah.
tendency, no matter, just to question, like,
Yeah.
am I?
Yeah.
Is there a reason that I'm missing here?
Yeah.
It's really,
Yeah.
when I hear somebody say it, I could say to them, don't do that. That's not true.
Yeah.
And, God is mercy and love and all those kinds of things. So it's not about a sin or anything like that.
Yeah.
But then I could hear it and want to encourage someone else, but then I would say the very same thing
Yep.
about myself. Yeah.
your
So that's
heart.
quite a wrestle you have to go through.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so to make it clear, to our audience, so
Yes.
we have been married, and for 6 years we were not trying to prevent having kids, but we could not have a child.
Yeah.
And my take on that as a man, initially I did not see any issues because I was just enjoying married life.
Yeah.
When the child comes, I guess I'll move on to the next chapter.
Yeah.
Until actually an elderly mom I would call asked me one day out of the blue, Patrick, she's African, so she's like, Patrick, did you take our daughter to hospital? In our African community, when someone can be your mom, they're allowed to call you their son and
Okay.
call your wife their daughter. So
Okay.
they can take ownership of their mother card. So she asked me, Patrick, did you
Mom
take
card.
our daughter to hospital? So I turned around and told her, Dawna was not sick this week. I don't know what you've heard, but she was not sick this week. And she told me, no, that's not what I mean. You've been married for a while now, and we don't see a baby. Did you get her checked? That's when my eyes opened on, wait a minute, we should actually be having kids. Like, we should have a kid by now. But, at that point, I think it's been at least 3 years since we got married. So that's when, for me, my eyes opened that something was wrong. It literally is how I started feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have losses before you get pregnant with Christelle?
No.
Just never got
Just
pregnant.
never got pregnant.
Finally, you get pregnant with Christelle, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the next phase of really hard journey begins.
Yes. And before having Christelle too, I want to mention that it has been hard because since we were aware that we should be having kids, but we were not, we had to take steps on finding out why are we not having kids.
Yeah.
And initially it started with Dawna because, you know, we didn't
That's
talk about it, but
naturally.
yeah, naturally you would
That's where we
send
go.
the wife to be checked first.
Yep.
And she jumped through her hoops and had her, you know, got checked. And results came and they say, well, you should be having kids. There's nothing wrong with you that we can see.
Yep.
And they say, now is the time for your husband to go also
Yeah.
check. And I did not expect that. And also, I don't know if I'm speaking as a man or as an African. A lot of times, men take themselves out of the picture. If something is not happening, it's just the wife. But, you know, I want to draw a point here that it's not necessarily the wife.
Yeah.
So, well, after Dawna got cleared, I definitely did not have any oppositions to also being checked. So I started also my routine.
Yeah.
So I got checked as well. And my results also came out and they say, you should be having kids.
Okay.
There is no reason, we don't see any reasons. And from there, I think that, you know, going back to our faith, we definitely were wondering, why are we not having kids then?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is God trying to teach us? Or, you know, what did we do to be paying this price from there?
Yeah.
You know, now moving from there, we have consulted with different doctors or hospitals to see what can you do, because now we want to have a child. What are our options there? And you know, places we went to, there wasn't anything they can do physically for the two of us anymore. So they decided that, well, you need to be referred to a fertility treatment, and they have options there for you. And you know, in the process, we are now being diligent on, you know, doing what we should do
Yep.
to have a child. And it was heartbreaking that every month, you know, we had the result that
Nope.
no child this month.
Yep.
And for a few years, it was hard.
And it's
To-
hard on a marriage.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's hard on a
Yeah.
lot of things.
Definitely.
Yep. It definitely give, you know, our marriage take a toll on that, because it was hard, because, you know, it's just, you know, when time comes to test and things are not the way we expected it to be, you know, as much as you are not mad at each other, you just don't want to talk to each other, because,
Yeah.
you know, you gotta
just
take
sad.
some time to
Yeah, process.
process and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
And we did not want to go the fertility treatment option. But, you know, over time we decided that, we realized that, well, there's no other options since we are trying still, and it's not happening. So we decided that, well, let's go see what the fertility doctors will have to say. And definitely we were at that point also, you know, diagnosed or said that we had unexplained infertility. That's the
Love
official
that.
Unexplained.
Right.
diagnosis.
Unexplained. Thank you for
Unexplained.
that.
I thought, you know, anyway, so we decided to go to the fertility doctor, and we made our first appointment. We showed up at the office. They gave us different options that we can take. And they told us to go think of all of the options and come back in 2 weeks with the option that we want to start with first. And I'll let Dawna talk now.
Yeah. In 2 weeks, right before the appointment, I took a pregnancy test and I was pregnant.
This stuff happens all the time. That is so crazy
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
6 years
Yeah.
and just what in the world?
It was amazing.
We couldn't believe
We
it
couldn't believe
until we went back to the follow-up appointment. And
There it was.
you know, hopefully their checking machines are better than what we use at home, and they confirmed that we sure were pregnant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that, from there, I already was thinking, God has a plan for us that He doesn't want any human to take credit for.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
great. All right, continue.
Yeah.
You talk, Dawna.
Okay. Yeah.
So now you're pregnant with Christelle.
Now, yes. Yes. Now we're
Things are marching
pregnant.
along.
Things are marching along until about week 20, I'd say. And I got a really, really bad asthma. Like I couldn't even sleep at night. I
Do you
couldn't.
usually have asthma?
Nope. I mean,
Okay.
I do, but it's not. It's only.
Severe.
It's not severe. It's
Okay.
like only when I get sick or when I, you know, randomly, but
Yeah.
not it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
So I got really, really bad asthma, and I just couldn't even breathe. I had to sleep sitting up on the couch. I just couldn't breathe.
No, she even had to open the
Oh, yeah.
window, put her head outside, saying that there's no air in the house. I couldn't understand it, but I was like, that's not right. There is a lot of air in the house.
Yeah. So I think I went to the doctor, and it was a urgent care because my doctor wasn't in the office, and they prescribed me an inhaler.
Sure.
But then when I went back home, Patrick was like, well, did you tell them you were pregnant? And I was like, I can't remember. So he said, why don't you just write an email to your doctor and just ask if this inhaler or prescription is okay? And I did, but then I also had been actually having headaches really severely. And now I see the red flags, but then I was just like, they say you have headaches, you know, and I had swelling in my legs. So they say you have those things when you're pregnant. So I didn't know how severe it was. But when I wrote the doctor, they said, yes, come today. I was at work. I went to work that day. And they said, yes, come in before the end of the day. And we need to take your blood pressure. So I finally made it. I think because of the traffic, I was like almost 30 minutes late, but they stayed there. They kept it open for me. And when I got there, they said, your blood pressure is way too high, and they immediately admitted me to the hospital. And you can tell your version
Yes,
in
I
a little
think-
bit. But they admitted me, and I was so confused. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't understand what was happening. But then after they had taken my blood pressure a few more times and they tried medication, they said, we have to transfer you to Bergen Mercy, which has a NICU. And I was like, why? What does that matter? And then finally it dawned on me that the baby could come anytime. And it was 24 weeks, or I think 23, almost 24. So you can start telling your side of that.
I think
story.
that there is a lot of gaps in Dawna's brain in that point because she was not fully herself.
Yeah, no.
You know,
I
from
wasn't.
there
I
on.
was
But
sick.
But yes, when she was having her asthma attacks, her doctor wasn't in the office, so she couldn't go there. But thankfully, the next day when we emailed, she responded saying that I'm in the office today, come in.
Yeah.
And I remember that day I was driving home from work, and Dawna was driving to the hospital from work, and we both passed by the hospital to go home. So told her, okay, I'm passing by the hospital, I'm going home. When you are done with your appointment, come home, I'll be home. And excuse me. So after a few minutes, Dawna called me and said, well, it's going to take a while because they say that my blood pressure is high. They will give me an IV to bring it down. And I say, okay, I'm already home. Come home whenever you're done. She calls me later and say, they gave me the IV. The blood pressure was supposed to come down, but it's not down. So they are preparing an ambulance for me. So I'm like, wait a minute. Asthma took you to the doctor's office. Now you're talking about ambulance. So at that hospital, they do not have a NICU. And they realized that since Dawna is pregnant and having those issues, especially with the high blood pressure, it may cause the baby to come.
Yeah.
So they decided to transfer her from one hospital to another one that has a NICU. And the hospital, thankfully, is 2 blocks from my house. So I walked to the hospital to take her car because she drove there. As soon as I was pulling into the hospital on foot, I saw the ambulance just leaving, and I knew Dawna was in there. So I had the spare key, grabbed the car, followed the ambulance to the hospital. And that day, it was on a Friday. So on Friday, they administered her a lot of IVs to bring the blood pressure down, but it was not coming down. And the doctors said that they did not think it was preeclampsia because she had some symptoms that are not preeclampsia symptoms. The next day, Saturday, they started with injections instead to see if that would help bring the blood pressure down. And it still was not coming down. So Sunday, they decided to go with pills. And the blood pressure was not coming down either, but they did not think that they could call it preeclampsia yet. And on Monday, the high-risk doctor came in and also tried a few things. But before then, they warned us that Dawna's life is as much in danger as the baby. But their focus is actually to save the mother's life, before the baby's life. And they also had told us that the stage of pregnancy that she was at, 24 weeks, if Dawna was at 26 weeks, she would have maybe 10% chance of saving the baby. But because we were at 24 weeks, and also the baby at that point was smaller than a normal 24-week baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it makes it that the baby has now 6% chance to live. So with that chance being so low, their focus is just on the mother. And so on Monday, they still had not called it preeclampsia until in the early afternoon, Dawna was starting what I would think is a seizure. They did tell us that she can have a seizure and other things. So when she started the seizure, that's when they came and told me that, they think that she has a severe preeclampsia and we need to take the baby out now and just to save the mother's life. And
Yeah.
Are you able, for the sake of time, we have
Yeah.
to jump ahead a little bit, but are you in that moment, are you coherent enough to be able to know what's happening, or is Patrick having to make these decisions on his own?
He had to make the decisions. I was like mostly unconscious.
Okay.
I remember hearing things, but I couldn't
Yeah.
make decisions or anything. So it was his decision. And I mean, it's the only decision.
Yes.
It was the only decision. He had to
Yes.
just say yes. So
Yes.
yeah, but right before that, the doctors had come in and, kind of given us bad news that the baby really probably wouldn't survive. But they also said they would do their best
Okay.
to save the baby, no matter what. They're like, we don't know if the baby can survive, but we'll do our best. And also they said, even the tubes, the breathing tubes for the ventilator, we're not even sure if our smallest one can fit down into the lungs of
Of a
your,
24-week
your
baby.
baby. So they're like, we'll just do our best. And so we were just like, oh Lord, help us. Oh
Yeah.
Lord, we just prayed and then that happened. The seizure happened, and then so I just had to go into surgery. And my brain is blanking from the on.
Well, so you guys, you have Christelle.
Yes.
They're saying 6% chance.
Yes.
Tell us again, remind me how tiny she is and how much she weighed.
Yeah.
she weighed 13 ounces.
13
ounces.
Not
Not
1
even
pound.
1
Not
pound.
even 1 pound.
And how big is she?
And for a visual, my wedding ring here would go as a bracelet all the way to her armpit.
Wow.
And so loose. It's not even tight. Like
Yeah.
you just slip
Yeah.
it in over her arm. It goes all the way to the
Yeah.
armpit
That was a few months though after
after she was born.
she was born.
Yeah.
So
She was
so
tiny
yeah,
in that.
yeah, we couldn't. So it was amazing because we couldn't. Like we watched this child develop outside of the womb. That we realized people don't get to see this.
No,
Her,
that had to be
yeah,
amazing.
her skin was almost like translucent. Her ears were like little flower petals. They
Wow.
were so thin, and they were actually low down here when she was born. As she developed, they came up to the
Wow.
normal. Like she wasn't even developed yet, and we got to watch it. It was like almost like when you look at the mountains or the ocean. Sorry, I'm gonna start crying.
You can start
You
to
could
cry.
see God's glory in this child. So yeah, it was just such a miracle. And for a while there we didn't know, of course, if she would survive, if she would live. And I was sick too. I kept on for at least 2 more months. I still had the high blood pressure and it wasn't going down. So he was the main guy at the NICU. He I couldn't. When I got released from the hospital, I had to even stay home for a week. I couldn't.
Wow.
I didn't have strength, or my blood pressure would have risen too high to go back to the hospital. So he went there every day, but yeah, we just saw God's glory. We saw the nurses and the doctors and everyone. We just appreciate so much just what they did, just being there, just their expertise, their care, and their just their knowledge. She had a few close calls.
Yeah.
She her breathing. Oh, we forgot this story. The amazing miracle of the breathing tube
Yes.
that I just said.
I was just waiting to tell
Did
that.
you want to say it? You could say it. Yeah.
So when they took out the baby, they asked me to come see the baby before they go see if they can keep the baby alive. And they left with the baby. I was with Dawna still in the surgery room. And after a few hours, they came and told me to come see the baby. So I went and saw the baby. They said they were able to stabilize the baby, and I could take pictures and go show to her mommy in her also other room. And the next day, the nurse who was on staff told me, because she was still in her room, that the smallest tube that they usually have was too big for the baby.
Yes.
But they had just started contact with another company who had a sample box that they opened for the first time to see if they would have any tube that's smaller than the smallest. And there was a smaller tube in that new box with the new contractor.
Holy smokes.
And that is the tube that they were able to use to
a sample box
Yep.
that coincidentally
Yep.
Yes.
arrived in time
Yep.
for Christelle to be able to use.
Yes.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yes.
She was in the NICU for 3 months?
7 months.
7 months.
7
yeah,
months.
I'm mixing up.
That's
Yes,
okay.
for
Yeah.
7 months.
7 months.
7 months.
Her
But you
brother
got-
was for 3 months.
Yeah, you
That's
got
why.
to finish watching her develop, outside
yes.
of the
Yep.
womb.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
again, for sake of time,
Yeah.
eventually you get to take her home. We'll talk a little bit more. She's now almost, she's
She
7?
turned
She just turned
7.
7.
She just turned
Yeah,
7.
in June.
In June. So she's 7 years old
Yeah.
now. Full of life. She's had some struggles too. Again, continuing to
Yeah,
have
health
certain
troubles,
things develop
yeah.
and heal from the kind of trauma of her birth.
Yes.
And then God gives you the gift of being pregnant again.
Yeah.
And you're traveling down that journey. You're already, I'm sure, considered high risk from everything
Yes.
that happened with her.
Yeah.
So they're watching your blood pressure and all of these kinds of things.
Yes.
But yet, I remember parts of the story. I know you have him early too.
Yes.
So was it preeclampsia that caused that again?
Yes.
How far along are you with PJ?
Actually, at about 24 weeks, the same time my blood pressure started raising, and I had a panic because I'm like, it's going to be the same thing all over again.
Yeah.
I can't do this, God. I can't
Yeah.
do this.
Yep.
So, but then, I don't know if I can say this, but our doctor was Katie Sekpi.
Yes.
She loves Jesus, and she's the most amazing
Yes.
OBGYN. And she said, Dawna, this doesn't mean that you're going to have the same problems. Let's pray. So she prayed with me every time, every appointment. Yeah, that was just so encouraging. So I had fears, I had trauma from the last time, but God gave me peace. He just gave me peace, and
So you
so,
delivered
yeah.
him at
so we
how
delivered
far
him
along
at
this time?
28 weeks.
So 4
So,
extra weeks.
4 extra weeks,
But
yeah.
still 12 weeks early.
Yes.
A whole trimester early.
Yeah.
And
Are
he
you-
was 2 pounds this
He was
time.
he was a
2
giant.
pounds. Oh my gosh.
2 pounds.
Okay, and he was in the NIC unit for 3 months,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So then you're juggling, you have Christelle, plus you have a baby that's in the NIC unit. Tell me, what is going on in your journey with the Lord during this, we worked so hard to have a baby. You finally give us a baby. Both times we've almost lost them. It's as difficult. How are you wrestling that out in your faith? Are you mad at God? How do you handle it?
I think we had reasons to be mad at God, in our opinion, with what we have gone through. And even with Page's birth, after Christelle that had a bigger struggle to now that she still has, some to go through, we finally became pregnant. And also that pregnancy was also a miracle too, like Page's pregnancy. So the story is that for 2 years as well, we have been trying, and of course no sign of pregnancy. And until we actually asked the pastors here in this same church again.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was during our corporate fast that we have every year. At the beginning,
Yes.
I said, that we are hoping for a baby in 2022. And we prayed, and we declared that God will give us a healthy baby boy in 2022. And that was just the power of prayer. After 2 years of trying, we prayed for a baby, and the pastor prophesied for a healthy baby boy on a Friday, and on Tuesday, we found out that we were pregnant.
So cool.
Yeah.
Fast forward, we found out it was a boy. Fast forward, the healthy part is what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
So when Dawna started having complications, like Dawna said, Katie was just so awesome.
Yeah.
We did just go in because she was high risk already. We would go to the hospital every week to get checked, and I always go with her. So that day we went for just a routine checkup. I told my boss, okay, I'll be back in an hour. Time to go check that baby out.
Yep.
And after the checkup, we were told that the baby needs to come now.
Today.
And we had not taken our pregnancy reveal pictures yet. It was a hard decision to make, especially after praying for a healthy baby boy and believing that we're going to have a healthy baby boy.
Yeah.
And out of the sudden,
Yeah.
the blood pressure was under control, and we weren't ready for the baby yet. We had to take the baby out. We took our pregnancy pictures right in front of the maternity that day before going back inside to get the baby. But God is faithful to His word. Although I remember standing in front of the maternity with Dawna, and the emotions were very high. I remember telling Dawna that God promised us a healthy baby boy. We are at 28 weeks, but healthy doesn't mean 40 weeks. A 28 weeks baby can also be as healthy as a 40 weeks baby.
Yes.
So we agreed on that, prayed, and went back and told the doctor that we were ready for that baby to come out.
Yeah.
And they did take the baby out, and he weighed 2 pounds. He stayed in the NICU for 3 months, and right now he is as healthy as he can be. Just keeps us so busy and no
I
downtime
love it
with
so
him.
much. I love it.
Yeah.
Every time I see you guys, for anyone who knows your story, you see walking miracles, and you see great faith, even in struggle, even through the valley of the shadow of death. God is with us, and you guys exemplify that. And so I wonder if you have any example of how God has used your story already. Dawna, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say, so when we were in the NICU, kind of just like our world was just shaken with Christelle. Our world was just shaken. We didn't know what we were, what the future was, what we were even doing here. Like, kind of like a whirlwind. Life was spinning. We had some friends, well, we made them in the NICU. Their son was also there. And they were just having a hard time. So we kind of just encouraged them with the scripture and just told them our story and encouraged them. And then when we got home that night, because we usually, just for our sanity, we went home at night to sleep and came back to the hospital life in the morning. But when we went to home in the evening, we said, do you know what? this is not all about us. It's not all about our struggle. Yes, we can feel sad. We can be stressed and all of those emotions, but I think we're here to be an encouragement to others.
Wow.
I think we're here to just touch others. We're going through the same thing. We have the same fears. God just wants us to show them love and kindness. So we just started just sharing God's like hope with the other families in the NICU anytime we had the opportunity, and we realized that helped them be encouraged too. And so we realized, wow, when you go through struggles, it's not just for it's not just a struggle. God always has a reason. And so when we lifted up our eyes a little bit and looked at those around us, we were able to minister to those around us. And even since then, like our nurse friend who had both of our kids in the NICU, she knows when she has a lady, a NICU mom that's struggling, sometimes she calls me and says, can you just come and like, I'll give you her number. Can you just come and just encourage her, talk to her? So I've done that several times. I've just gone to the NICU, talked to the lady, the young mom, told her, look, this is what happened to my daughter. Our babies went through the same thing. Yours is going through that. But look at my daughter now, and do you know what God can do? And and say, yes, I had those feelings, but it's not going to be like this. And God can do miracles, and just whatever the Holy Spirit tells me to encourage them with. And then also, since I'll be fast, but since Christelle had some ongoing physical health problems, not mental, she's great. Physical health problems. We have gone through therapies with other families that we look at it in the same way. Like, we are all here and we're going to show them Christ, encourage them, and give them the hope of Christ. Christelle went through an 8-week feeding therapy just last year or the year before? The year before. And so we just poured into the other families that were there. So that's the thing that I have taken out of it. That's been a ministry opportunity because of that. Yeah.
I think that's really a goal of this podcast, is that so many times we're walking through life, whether it's in the hallways of this church, whether it's at your job, the grocery store, whatever, and people make assumptions looking at people all the time and have no idea that the journey they've gone through. And with or without Jesus, we judge people all the time. And it's one of the reasons why we really wanted to have this podcast, of really encouraging people. Hearing other stories strengthens our own faith. Hearing other people's stories strengthens our own faith. And then also hearing and seeing your vulnerability to share your journey, and the wrestle sometimes of, God, where are you? God, why? God, whatever, helps me as a human to go, okay, I'm human, they're human. It's okay that I'm wrestling this out with God. And being encouraged to go, it's okay to wrestle. I mean, one of my most favorite sermons I have ever heard was from one of our former pastors, and he talked about even Jesus asked why when he's in the garden, and when he's on the cross, he said why, but then he said, your will be done. So it's what we do with the why. I have permission to ask it, and then I have to release it. And sometimes that takes some of us a little longer than others, but learning how to say, but God, I trust you. And you were forced to trust God journey after journey after journey with the kids, and to continue. Listen, parenting children is not easy, and life continues to happen, and they get their own opinions, and they make their choices, and they have to determine if they're going to follow Jesus. And so those are things where we have to go, God, I'm going to do my part, and I trust you that you're going to do your part. And so I just love that you have been willing to share your story so that others can be encouraged and seeing your faith, and also encouraged that their stories have value, because again, it's the continuation of Jesus' story through them that people are saved, people are given hope, and shake off shame and fear and things like that. One final question I want to ask you is about legacy. Our legacy matters. And so what would you say is your legacy that you want people to see long after you're gone? What do you want them to know about Dawna, about Patrick, about the Nikiemas?
The legacy that I want people to think about us is God's provision and God's faithfulness at all times. And all of us have a purpose. And for us specifically with Christelle, we are actually blessed that this church helps people find their purpose. So that's very helpful.
Yeah.
But someone like Christelle, it's easy to know that God has a purpose for her, because against all odds, would think that she, nobody would know about her or she would not make any impact here. But with all that she has gone through, we know for sure that God has her here specifically for a purpose that we should help her discover and live. So for us, going through all that we have gone and in our lives, we are at the point where we know that our lives are not about us. It's not just our family, but it's what the difference we can make in other people's lives.
That's good.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of plans and projects where it's not about us increasing or growing, but it's about how we can impact as many people as we can.
Yes.
And we feel we actually in these plans that we have for us, the parents, in impacting many people, we are hoping that our kids can live on with that legacy after we are gone.
Yeah.
So and that legacy in short would be to impact other people's lives, be a blessing to other people through the blessings that God has given through you.
Yeah. Dawna, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say similar faithfulness, and that people would just because of our story, because of what he's done in our lives, that people would know that God is faithful, and also that people would know that God can do miracles, and that he I'm sorry, I'm trying to just put it all into one statement. Sometimes I feel like he's done so much for me that I don't deserve. And so what he gives me, I need to use for him. I think it was 2 years ago, also at the church fasting time, I was praying and thanking God for both of my children were out of the NICU, and I was thanking him, and I'm like, okay, God, what now? And he said, tell it. Just tell it. That's the point of the story. How can it be lost? It needs to be told.
So
just
good.
tell of God's glory. So that's another reason why when you ask us to do this podcast, we were like, yes, because God just wants us to share it so that other people can be blessed by and have hope and just learn to trust in God. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm also starting to write a book. About this very topic. I've just written a few pages so far, but that's another way that God I know God wants me to share it.
I love it.
Yeah.
You guys, listeners, this is it. Patrick and Dawna just said it. Our story is not about us. Our story is about him and what he wants to show the world about himself through us and our unique story. People will see things in my story that they won't see in yours, and they'll see things in yours that they won't see in mine. And that's the beauty of it, that God chooses to build his kingdom through our lives and our stories, but he does not get the glory if we're not willing to tell it.
That's right.
So thank you so very much for saying yes, giving up your Saturday morning, finding a sitter for the kids, just to come share your story with our listeners and to celebrate Jesus. And Patrick has this reputation around here that you can see his smile from a mile away, and he's always so faithfully serving outside in the parking lot, even in the harshest of winter weather. He's smiling.
Yes.
But I actually sat here noticing you both have it, the same big, beautiful smile. And I love that Jesus shines through you, and his hope is evident in you. So continue to tell your story. We're honored that you shared it with us today. Thank you guys for being here. We'll chat again next time.